And getting back to the Lil Wayne of it all, because you're a bigger Lil Wayne fan than I am.
Correct.
I have a hot take. I don't think he's all that great, but
that's wild.
That's
crazy.
I think he has some hot songs out there. I think the Carter 3 is his best album.
Yeah.
That I've heard.
I would agree.
Ever.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of hot tracks out there. He's got a lot of Lil Wayne tracks that I listen to, and I've been listening to him since it was Hot Boys and Big Timers and Cash Money and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Lil Wayne for a long time, and I do not want to say he's not one of the rap greats. What I am saying, I'll say it different than I talk about it with Drake.
Yeah.
I don't prefer Lil Wayne's music. I'm not here to say that it's bad.
Oh, okay.
I call Drake music bad, but I don't prefer Lil Wayne.
Well, I can get with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So he don't have no like top 10 albums or top 15 albums for me, which he has for a lot of people.
I mean, not for me either. To be fair, he doesn't have it for me either. Like Carter 3 would be the best for me too. Wouldn't be in my top 10. It wasn't.
It wasn't
in mine.
Either in my
top 10. I should have put it in there. Just
number
one. Lil Wayne. The GOAT.
I just would have been like, yo, we got to get out of here.
And some of his mixtapes and stuff like that. Again, he had his mixtape run, as so famously known for, at least within the smaller circles of rap and hip hop, right? Sure. Is one of the things that he's renowned for is that, and I do appreciate a lot of that music too.
Yeah,
a lot of what he was able to do on beats that you wanted to hear him on. That was cool, and he kept it hip hop, so that was cool. And so I think that's where my respect for Wayne comes from. Yeah, right.
I respect Wayne. He's a great lyricist. Yeah, I think lyrically he's one of the best rappers I've heard. Yeah. You know what I mean, and I think that he's one of the rap's best to do it. Yeah. I'm gonna start a new norm. I'm not using the term GOAT unless I actually mean the greatest, because there can only be one greatest of all time. Yeah. So I don't want to be like Lil Wayne is the GOAT of Louisiana. Like he's one of the best rappers hip hop has produced. Right. But all that being said, there is a corporate aspect to the Super Bowl that this conversation around why wasn't he able to do it and him being disappointed. Yeah. Again, like if we go to school, this decision having been made probably months ago. Right. Right. There's probably a list of people, and then you put that in front of corporate sponsors to figure out who they feel like they could ride with. Mm-hmm. Lil Wayne was probably on that list. Right.
Do you think he was on that list?
I think Lil Wayne, it would not make sense for it to be in New Orleans and for Rock Nation not to at least think about Lil Wayne. Yeah. Right. Unless, because we don't have no knowledge, unless there's some back behind the scenes shit that happens, unless Birdman popped off to the wrong person and was like, no Lil Wayne, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, like, I don't have any knowledge of that shit, so I'm not going to speak to anything like that, right? So all I can say is, you put that shit in front of the NFL, you put that shit in front of corporate sponsors. Right. They determine who's palatable for them. Yeah. And who they want to put the Doritos halftime show or the Apple Music
Pepsi halftime show,
right? And
presented by Apple Music.
Exactly.
In conjunction with Amazon.
Exactly. Presented by the NFL. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Shout out FedEx. So you're just like, okay, relax.
And so none of them motherfuckers wanted to attach their name to Lil Wayne, which makes sense.
Yeah. It tracks.
That tracks to me. So that's why this conversation made me so mad. Because I was like, Lil Wayne got corporate sponsors? What the fuck is we talking about right now?
I know. I'm like, what? What are you talking about right now?
What are you talking about right now? So,
I have a hot take.
Go.
I don't think that Lil Wayne was even being considered.
Okay. Why?
That is my hot take.
Why?
Because again, when we look at it from that lens, through the corporate sponsorship lens, I think they were immediately like, no. Okay. No Lil Wayne. Okay. We know enough of his track record, his presentability, I guess, their marketability. Yeah, right? Yeah. Who's going to represent well. And if the conversation was, look, from Jay-Z and others, to that we want to present a singular rap artist to be the person for the halftime show. Yeah. They were like, okay, well, yeah. Give us a list. Okay, not Lil Wayne, not Future. I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but they were just like, no.
They're not doing Future. they're not gonna let him sing Percocet, Molly Percocet.
Ret the set.
We're not doing that at the Super Bowl. We're just not doing that at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's just not what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But so I think he was considered.
I don't think he was considered.
I think he was considered.
That's the other thing. We're having this conversation, or not we are, but Twitter was going off.
Yeah.
Talking about the disrespect that was shown to Wayne, and that is presented as if there was a assumption that he was the guy they were gonna go with, like that there was no other way it was gonna be anyone else besides Lil Wayne, like as if this decision was in fact to disrespect Wayne, which I don't think it was. I think it was business is business, and we're gonna go with the guy that we trust in putting our marketing dollars and all our corporate sponsored dollars behind.
So there's one thing I want to agree with.
Yeah.
Jay-Z will sell out the black community to enrich himself. Hands down. Fuck New York people who think I'm talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, he will.
Right.
He rode Colin Kaepernick wave to the Rock Nation collab with the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. He got all the niggas on Tidal before he sold it to Jack Dorsey.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He got all the niggas drinking Ace of Spades before he sold it.
Yeah.
Ak actually said this, and it's one of the few times I agree with Ak. Jay-Z gets black people engaged in something, builds the value of it up, sells that motherfucker, and runs off with the money.
Right.
He does that shit.
Yeah.
But all that being said, all the hate he received before anybody had a chance to sit down, especially that tirade that Nicki Minaj went off on, I started thinking to myself, like, do you niggas not understand the laws of power, right? Like, I mentioned it when we talked about the Drake-Kendrick battle. Go read 48 Laws of Power. You know what I mean? Because in the Kendrick and Drake thing, I said, you destroy absolutely. Well, the first law of power is don't outshine your master. Right? And so think about what Kendrick has done this year.
Right.
Okay? Like That is still charting. It's like probably in the 40s or something like that. Not Like Us has dropped down into the 20s or wherever it is in the teens at this point. But it's still almost 4 months on the charts.
Yeah.
And then he does the pop-out concert, which was streamed on what?
Amazon.
Was streamed on Amazon. Who does the Thursday night games again? Amazon. Okay, so again, we get the dress rehearsal for what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? He does an amazing show that is viewed around the world by millions of people. Can Kendrick Lamar do a show? Yes, we just streamed it on Amazon.
Right.
Amazon is connected to the NFL.
Yeah.
Kendrick also has relationships with Dr. Dre, as we know, who also vibes with who? Jay-Z and Rock Nation. Like, all of this shit is hand in hand, right? And so it makes sense to me that they were able to, after the years Kendrick has, say Kendrick Lamar is the obvious choice for the Super Bowl right now.
Right.
It didn't matter what city it was in. If it was in New York, it wouldn't have been 50 Cent. If it was, or whoever insert rappers you want here.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what city the fucking thing was in this year. It was going to be Kendrick Lamar.
Right.
And I think that we're missing this.
Yeah.
That Cash Money, there seems to be a corporate/industry push against Cash Money, Young Money, and OVO right now.
Right.
And I don't think people are talking about that enough.
No, not at all, because we can look at the individuals that make up, I guess, the biggest parts of that, right? Drake, Nicki, and Lil Wayne, right? And Nicki has her own beef with the industry.
She does. And she still moves numbers. She still does great.
She does amazing for, I guess what you could potentially call being blackballed.
Yeah.
Right? And
she does really well.
Too.
The Barbs are out there for her.
Yeah, so shout out to the Barbs.
Yeah.
Because they keep it going. She still does like 300.
Yeah, she does. She does really great numbers.
So she's still putting out quality music and getting the numbers to reflect that. So all things considered, right? But it does feel like there is a pushback on her from either scorned relationships that she has within the industry.
She's scorning relationships. The VMAs were just in Queens,
right?
No, Meg hosts the. I'm like, there is something going on where the industry is like, we shitting on all y'all, right?
Yeah.
Right? Cash Money, New Orleans, baby, talking about what a bossy is. You're not a boss if when people come to your city to jump shit off, you got to ask them if you could do something. Like, that's not boss shit. That's
they're not asking you.
Yeah, they're not asking you. They didn't ask you to come to New Orleans. They said, we in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then y'all was like, hope they pick us. That's not boss moves, right? Like that. You ain't a boss.
No. And that's just not how those deals are played either.
That's not how those deals are played.
And I think that's again, to your point, people aren't looking at this in the business moves that are being made all at the same time, right? These are building blocks that you put together to then make these deals happen.
It's
the only way that these deals happen. And again, that's why there is credence to what you're saying about the potential that this deal could have been, being finalized even in the top of the year, right? Or even, or that there was, again, that the pop out was a rehearsal for that, to show you guys, look, this is what I can do. I've already shown it on my tour.
This is PG Lang.
I did.
This is PG Lang production.
Exactly, right? And again, I had mentioned this to you when we were talking about Lil Wayne, that if Lil Wayne seriously wanted to perform at the Super Bowl halftime, he wouldn't have started taking it serious 5 years ago. He would have took it serious a long, long time ago, right? Again, we're talking about his brand. We're talking about...
So, to that, I want to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Let's rewind. Okay. So, in 2019, 2020, there was a cultural thing happening while we were going through a pandemic.
Right.
Colin Kaepernick was a thing that was going on. Black Lives Matter became a thing that was going on.
Yeah.
Okay. During that time, Lil Wayne, very pro-Trump, said, only my lives matter. This is on live TV. Go Google the fucking conversation. My life matter.
Yeah.
He didn't believe in no police brutality because he was saved by a cop when he was young.
Yeah.
Only my life matter. And my life matter to my bitches. I'm not quoting Lil Wayne. I'm paraphrasing because I didn't watch that shit. You know what I mean? And then he pulls out his red flag. This is what mattered. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
He has been very pro-Trump because Trump, before he left office, got Wayne up out of jail.
Right.
So he's been very pro-Trump. And we know, shout out to Elon, that if you are outwardly pro-Trump and trying to be a corporate brand, it is plutonium. Nobody wants to touch it.
Right.
But that's not to say you can't support Trump or whatever candidate you want to do.
Yeah.
But the people who are the CEO of Doritos might be donating to Trump's super PAC. I don't fucking know. That's the point.
Right.
You can have that shit. I know about the Koch brothers and Koch Industries. Yeah. They're super hard right.
Right.
And they're definitely... I don't see these motherfuckers on TV, so I couldn't pick these old-ass white men out of a lineup.
Exactly. You don't know what they look like.
No idea.
You don't know what they support. The brand doesn't get behind some shit. Right? The brand is just like, yo, Doritos.
We need blue, green, red. We don't get Martians. We need everybody to eat fucking Doritos.
We're all inclusive when it comes to Doritos.
When it comes to Doritos, right? And so... being a music personality, you can't outwardly come out one way or the other because then you alienate people.
Right.
And you don't want to be a firebrand because that's not going to get you. If your goal is to play the Super Bowl, it's not going to get you there.
Yeah.
So if we go back, we have all the outrage of the Super Bowl. Lil Wayne does that.
Right.
Okay. Then, so as we start fast forwarding through the years, Lil Wayne is doing Lil Wayne things. He's releasing albums. He's doing music. He's doing what he does. Recently, though, the narrative has been out there is that he's, like you said, hard to work with.
Yeah.
Maybe won't show up on time, according to that one report.
Right.
If that's true, right? He's admitted that he doesn't remember his own lyrics.
Yes, that is something that he admitted himself.
He said that out of his own mouth.
Right.
Right.
And again, thinking about all the things that you're putting out there for these people who are in essence kind of interviewing you for this job. If we want to just put it into layman's terms, right? You're in an interview for a job, right? And then the company that's interviewing you goes on social media and they find your social media where you're putting out your opinions, right? Maybe they're not aligned with those opinions.
Correct.
Or they're showing, you're showing that you have represented or demonstrated not having a capacity to do something, right? That was on that resume or something, right? They're gonna take that all into account. They see everything.
So I work in corporate America now. I've been in corporate America for the past 20 years.
Right.
Okay. And so everybody's heard the term money, power, respect.
Yes.
And so to navigate through the career and the success I'm having in my corporate career, you have to understand who can get you to the places you want to go and what you need to show to get to that place.
Right.
And what we didn't do with Lil Wayne, right? We just said, New Orleans, Lil Wayne. Yeah. Right? And then we just whined.
Yeah.
But what we didn't talk about was, because it feels like, oh, so now Lil Wayne has to shuck and jive for the white people if he wants to play the Super Bowl. No, he doesn't. He does not.
No.
Kendrick didn't. And he got the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But Kendrick did what needed to be done. He made the right connections. He respected the right people.
Right.
Right? Because in money, power, respect, if you have enough money, he could have got the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He could have got the Super Bowl, right? If he had power, he could have made somebody, right, put him on the Super Bowl. So he didn't have, so he don't got those two things.
Yeah.
And he did not have the respect that he needed so that somebody would, so the people who had the power or the money
would then go to
would then say, no, we need to make this Lil Wayne.
Right.
Kendrick can do next year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so he didn't have any of those things. And that's the conversation that I feel like we missed, like tremendously as a group of people talking about this conversation. It's just that, one, somebody who's doing it is insanely qualified to do it, and two, the person you guys are saying you wanted to do it did not build a resume enough and has not made the industry connections and might even be in a position where their music is being suppressed. So there was a lot of reasons why this wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So, I mean, if we just talk about the corporate stuff
and
we just keep it there, right? It doesn't seem to me that Young Money, OVO, Cash Money really understand how the big players work.
Right.
Right? And they're still fighting a beef that Jay-Z doesn't give a shit about. Jay-Z's a billionaire. You think he give a fuck about what Baby's saying on Twitter?
He don't care. He don't care,
you
bruh.
think you think so? Somebody you think anybody told Jay-Z Baby said that shit?
I think he would laugh.
You think Jay-Z sitting in whatever palatial thing he's sitting in is looking at Nicki Minaj comments?
No.
It's not how he got to $1 billion.
No.
And the multiple billions. It's not how him and Beyonce got to billions of dollars, right? So,